maintenance guys and the guy running the hammer was over here looking at it, and they said it loaded seal because oil started coming out of here.
Was they running living piss out of it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to happen. You get this hot, and the seals we have, Tom, they're oil and pigmented. When you warm them up, they start leaking.
Yeah.
The
Can you replace that
Yes,
seal?
yes, we have seal kits.
Okay.
We
They
supply.
don't have any parts for this thing if something goes down, I think.
We have seal kits that we keep them on stock.
Okay.
Seal kits not that expensive.
Now, one thing that they noticed that seems like they're starting to get some play in that you can lift this. I don't know if that's what I'm asking you if this is normal or not, but you can put a pry bar right there and lift that and probably get a good 15,000, 20,000.
It's just threading.
down.
Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of that, but it's not.
It's not an
No.
issue then. Okay.
No, it's what you got to work in the threads.
Okay.
We don't build these threads under
I know
95% thread.
if you get that too tight, if you don't have some give there, it's gonna create a,
But what you want to do is when you get these, this is 100% in line. There's not a half a degree play. I mean, it's
that's the
100%.
reason I'm making a bushing for mine is because it's so difficult to keep anything in line. And if I have a rubber connection there, a rubber boot, that gives you some, some area of, so it doesn't have to stay in line. And it's hard to do that. Especially when you start replacing your slides and everything.
Well,
it's hard to.
I've never replaced a set of slides. Never one.
I know these old ones they got over here, they're all wore out.
We've never replaced a set of slides.
Yeah.
You lube this properly and you keep it adjusted. This is called a loose gib system. Loose fit gib system. It's not pressure, and there's a little slop in there. There's like a business card. You slop in there because you start using this heat, you start swelling that steel. It's got to go somewhere.
Right.
Get it too tight, and this is not die perfection by no means. This is not die perfection. You're not doing drop forging with these.
So what about the oil adjustment back there? Is it?
If you have too much oil, you can turn this down just a little bit. And it just changes a little at a time. If you run a little piss out of it, you're going to have to come look at my hammers. They're like,
They're gonna be
that's normal.
Because it stayed clean, and then all of a
Well,
sudden.
the seals broke in.
Yeah, okay. All right, so it's just now breaking in. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you have dryers on this line?
They have a dryer back here at the compressor. They have a
Okay,
big,
huge
huge dryer
you don't
system.
have a problem with oil coming through your compressor
Water.
spitting oil through the system, do you?
You mean water?
No. A compressor, if your seals get loose in your compressor, in the actual compressor, they'll pass compressor oil through the lines. And if you get some of that, it'll trap in here and it has to puke somewhere. Because what you'll do, you put it, it'll end up on the bottom of the
We don't
hill.
have any oil coming through the lines.
Because
It's pretty
if you
clean.
do that coming in, you'll see, because you have top and bottom lines, and we run into that one time, guy had just a sloppy ass compressor, kept oil in it, but the oil that kept leaking, it was going through the lines, and it filled this up, and every once in a while, it just run out of place to do it.
Did y'all machine an extra port on these things? Or
They're
did you-
custom machined that way.
custom?
These are custom built.
Yeah.
These have got a double set
Yeah,
of wear bands in. They've got wear bands. They've got a bronze bushing, and they've got a double set. These have got double pistons in them. They've got double wear bands, and they've got special what we call they bleed your oil, your rings.
Yeah.
When you warm them up, they bleed liquid. When they cool down,
Because I was gonna, I just took that big piston out of that machine the other day, and I was gonna tell Rick, and I don't know if you're okay with this or not, but the big hammer that we're gonna fix, I was gonna recommend that he buy a cylinder from you.
well,
If
we
you
supply
sell those for that.
We supply these sizes cylinders is what we do.
Okay, because that weighs 165 pounds.
This is 155 pounds.
So
weight
it should handle an extra 10 pounds. without
It'll
problem.
handle another 20 pounds easy. I mean, that's
Okay,
not the issue.
all right. So, the reason why that is if we're gonna use buy a cylinder to run that old
I'll say
machine
10
with,
cylinders. It doesn't matter to me.
you'll have an extra cylinder on
Right.
hand that's interchangeable.
Right. It doesn't bother me in the least.
Okay.
Now, this cylinder and this valve is, we went through a lot of pains to get these set up together. You know, all this is a unit. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not, you know, you can oversize you can get this huge valve and oversize this valving, you can oversize your cylinder, undersize.
Well,
We went through a lot, and believe it or not, Tom, these hoses, all this is put here, so these hoses are the right length.
Right.
A half-inch hose makes all the difference in the
well,
world in
I'm
speed.
aware of that. I've been playing with these.
Elbows, you
hammers.
notice there's no elbows on here,
Mm-hmm.
or at least the amount of elbows I can get away with.
Yeah.
Elbows
That's why-
is drag.
That's why the one I got back then, I had the cylinder just shooting straight into there. And, I mean, the valve shooting straight into the cylinder. And so,
And watch your rubber hose. I noticed
Yeah.
you had your rubber neoprene hose on there.
mm-hmm.
You run them with, especially old air to oil and your compressor oil is the worst thing.
Yeah, it could,
Not only swell, but they start breaking off inside and
Yeah.
pieces start plugging your valves.
yeah.
So if you start getting valve problem, first thing to do is check your hoses.
Well, the reason I went with an 8-inch stroke cylinder was because I'm building that machine to do one thing, and one thing is that's just to draw out long tapers. So I figured the shorter the stroke, and
As long as you get the power of that stroke.
it's got good power. I'd say it's hitting every bit as hard as this is. But I want it to. I don't see the need of having an extra long stroke when we're just running. All we're doing is running tapers with
You got, you know, if it's a one committed, one machine, just make it fit that machine.
I looked at that. I bought that cylinder on eBay for $100, and I looked at that thing for 3 days. Almost scared. Playing with an 8-inch stroke just gets a little bit too touchy.
8-inch stroke, you should have about you ought to have about 6.5 inches of usable space.
Right, and so
Because you can't bottom out top or bottom.
it took a lot of playing around with to get it to cycle right, but it's doing a good job. And if I were to build a hammer for myself or more usable things, I would, I'd go with about 12-inch cylinders, a longer probably.
Well, you're looking at 15 years of prototyping.
Yeah.
This isn't the first hammer we built.
Oh, I'm aware of that.
And,
I'm aware of
and
that. Yeah.
this is number way up in the thousands somewhere. And, I mean, we never give up. Never, if you had a list of all the hammers I built over the last years, every year you'd see changes. But now, even the hammer that's 3 or 4 years old in this, anything we've added, you can bring it up to it. You can always bring it up. It's not like a new pickup that this won't fit. They'll all fit.
You can tune it into
Yes.
new standards.
And there's a lot of people buy these, what we call an upgrade kit. They take an older hammer and make it this one.